If you're over 60 and wake up every night gasping for air, feeling like you're drowning in your own bed, you need to know that there's something you're doing every night before bed that's literally robbing your lungs of oxygen. More than 936 million people worldwide suffer from obstructive sleep apnea, and recent studies have revealed that 73% of these people have a specific nighttime eating habit that's drastically worsening their condition without them even knowing it. Imagine discovering that seemingly harmless snack you religiously consume before bed is causing your throat to close up to 300 times a night, interrupting your breathing and forcing your heart to work as if you're running a marathon while you sleep. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with that awful feeling that you can't get enough air into? Your lungs feeling like someone is squeezing your throat with their bare hands. Or perhaps you've noticed your partner poking you during the night, telling you that you're making strange noises as if you're fighting something invisible. What you don't know is that there's a direct scientifically proven link between certain foods consumed after 6 p.m. and catastrophic worsening of sleep apnea, especially in people over 60. Researchers at Stanford University found that individuals who consume these specific foods before bed are 340% more likely to develop severe apnea episodes during the night. But here's the scariest part. Most people consume these foods precisely because they believe they'll help them relax and sleep better. The truth is, you could be literally killing yourself slowly night after night, thinking you're taking care of your health. In the next few minutes, I'll reveal exactly which treacherous foods are turning your nights into battlegrounds for breathing, why people over 60 are especially vulnerable to these devastating effects, and most importantly, how you can completely reverse this situation starting today. If you've come across this video, it's probably no accident. Maybe you've spent another night waking up startled, struggling to breathe, or maybe your partner is worried about the sounds you make in your sleep. I want you to know you're not alone in this silent battle that happens every night in your bedroom. That's why I created this channel, a space where people like you can finally find real answers to a problem that doctors often underestimate or treat only with expensive and uncomfortable equipment. Here you'll discover practical science-based solutions that can transform your nights starting today. If you want to be part of this community of people who are reclaiming the right to sleep peacefully and wake up refreshed, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Each new subscription motivates me to continue researching and bringing you information that can literally save lives. And leave a comment telling me how your nights have been lately, because believe me, your experience could help someone watching this video right now feeling completely lost and hopeless. Together we will transform your nightmarish mornings into restful nights. Let's start by understanding why your body becomes a death trap after 60. As we age, our muscles naturally lose tone and strength, including those small muscles around the throat that are responsible for keeping your airways open during sleep. It's as if nature is conspiring against you, because as these muscles weaken, your metabolism also slows, causing food to be processed completely differently, especially at night. When you consume certain foods after sunset, your body initiates an inflammatory process that can last up to 8 hours, causing swelling in the throat tissues just when you most need them to remain open for breathing. Imagine a 62-year-old who every night before bed drank a glass of warm milk thinking it would help her relax. What she didn't know is that dairy, especially when consumed close to bedtime, can increase mucus production by up to 150%, creating a viscous barrier that partially obstructs the airways. After 3 weeks of completely eliminating dairy after 5 p.m., she reported being able to sleep through the night for the first time in 2 years, waking up feeling like she had actually rested. The first villain on our list will shock you: dairy products consumed after 6 p.m. Cheese, milk, yogurt, ice cream, excess butter, any dairy product becomes a deadly enemy of your sleep when consumed at night. The casein in dairy triggers an inflammatory response that can cause the tissues in your throat to swell up to 3 times their normal size. It's literally as if you're inflating a balloon inside your throat, drastically reducing the space through which air can pass. But there's something even more sinister going on. Dairy also stimulates the excessive production of histamine, the same substance responsible for allergic reactions. When you're over 60, your body can no longer process histamine efficiently, causing it to build up in the throat tissues throughout the night. Studies show that people who completely eliminated dairy after 5 p.m. reduced their sleep apnea episodes by up to 45% in just 2 weeks. Think about all the times you've woken up with a dry mouth, a sore throat, or that feeling like something's stuck in your throat. Now you know why. The second silent killer ruining your nights is foods high in refined sugar and simple carbohydrates consumed at night. Sweets, white bread, pasta, cookies, cakes, soda, artificial juices. Anything containing processed sugar turns into pure dynamite for your airways when consumed after sunset. What happens is devastating. When you consume sugar at night, your body triggers a systemic inflammatory process that can last up to 10 hours. Your levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, skyrocket, keeping your nervous system on high alert when it should be preparing for rest. Simultaneously, sugar causes a brutal insulin spike that forces your body to work overtime to process all that glucose, generating internal heat and widespread inflammation. Imagine a 58-year-old who had the habit of eating 2 slices of cake before bed because she felt it helped her relax. What she discovered after 3 months of severe sleep apnea was that every gram of sugar she consumed after 7 p.m. was literally igniting the tissues in her throat from the inside out. When she completely eliminated nighttime sugar, her episodes of respiratory arrest decreased by 52% in the first week. Nighttime sugar also completely disrupts her circadian rhythm, causing her body to be unable to distinguish between day and night, keeping systems that should be sleeping working at full speed. Now let's talk about the third deadly enemy: processed and ultra-processed foods consumed in the last 4 hours before bed. Processed foods, snacks, frozen foods, fast food. Anything that comes in colorful packaging with an endless list of ingredients you can't even pronounce. These products are veritable chemical bombs loaded with preservatives, stabilizers, artificial colors, and flavor enhancers that turn your throat into an inflammatory battlefield. Monosodium glutamate, present in most of these foods, causes extreme vasodilation that causes the blood vessels in your throat to expand uncontrollably, creating swelling that can obstruct up to 70% of your airway. The nitrates and nitrites used to preserve processed meats release excess nitric oxide, causing abnormal relaxation of the throat muscles precisely when you need them to remain firm to support airflow. Imagine a 65-year-old who ate a ham and cheese sandwich every day for supper. She couldn't understand why she woke up every morning feeling suffocated. When she discovered she was consuming more than 15 different chemical additives in a single nighttime meal, she decided to replace these foods with natural options. Within 3 weeks, she was back to sleeping 8 hours straight without any episodes of shortness of breath. I'm going to pause here because I need to ask something very important. Have you ever noticed that some nights are worse than others in terms of sleep, quality and ease of breathing? Have you ever stopped to connect those terrible nights with what you ate? Before bed, we often think of sleep apnea as something that simply happens to us without our participation, as if we were helpless victims of a body that's betraying us. But the truth is, there's a direct and powerful correlation between our nighttime food choices and the severity of the symptoms we experience during sleep. If you recognize some of the patterns I've mentioned so far, if you recall specific nights when you woke up gasping for air after consuming some of these foods, please leave a comment sharing your experience. It could be something as simple as writing, "I always wake up worse when I eat sweets at night," or "I've never connected my late night snacking with my breathing difficulties. Every story you share in the comments not only helps me better understand the needs of our community, but it could also be the key that opens the eyes of someone watching this video right now suffering for months or years without understanding what's happening to their body. Remember that behind every person struggling with sleep apnea is an entire family who also suffers, partners who lose sleep in worry, children who are distressed watching their parents age rapidly due to chronic oxygen deprivation. Your comment could be the first step in someone's journey to recovery. Continuing our journey through the foods that are sabotaging your sleep, we need to talk about the fourth major culprit: alcoholic beverages consumed in the 6 hours before bed. Many people believe that a glass of wine or a beer before bed will help them relax and fall asleep more easily, but the reality is quite the opposite. Alcohol is a central nervous system depressant that causes excessive and dangerous relaxation of the throat muscles, turning your airways into a garden hose that can easily be squeezed and blocked. When you're over 60, your liver no longer metabolizes alcohol as efficiently as when you were younger, causing these substances to linger in your system for much longer, wreaking havoc throughout the night. Alcohol also severely interferes with your REM sleep cycles, preventing your body from entering the deepest, most restorative phases of rest, keeping you in a semi-awake state where your respiratory muscles can't function properly. Imagine a 63-year-old woman who had a sacred ritual of drinking 2 glasses of red wine every night because she'd read it was good for the heart. What she didn't expect was that those same glasses were causing up to 180 episodes of respiratory arrest per night, forcing her heart to work as if she were doing intense physical exercise while sleeping. When she eliminated nighttime alcohol, not only did her apnea episodes decrease dramatically, but she also found that she woke up much more rested and with a clearer mind during the day. The fifth deadly enemy of your peaceful nights is extremely spicy and hot foods consumed at night. Chili peppers, strong seasonings, very salty foods, curry, mustard, wasabi, anything that makes your mouth burn or your eyes water. These foods directly irritate the mucous membranes in your throat, causing swelling and excessive secretions that can partially obstruct your airways throughout the night. The capsicum in chili peppers causes intense vasodilation that can cause the throat tissues to swell like waterlogged sponges. Furthermore, highly spicy foods raise your internal body temperature, forcing your body to work to cool itself down just when it should be conserving energy for nighttime recovery. The excess sodium in processed seasonings causes fluid retention that accumulates in the soft tissues of the throat, creating a physical obstruction that progressively worsens as the night progresses. Studies show that people who completely avoided spicy foods after 5 p.m. reduced their nighttime mucus production by up to 60%, significantly improving the quality of their breathing during sleep. Now let's address something that will surprise many people. Fruits consumed at night can also be major villains for those suffering from sleep apnea, especially very sweet or acidic fruits. Oranges, lemons, pineapples, very sweet grapes, watermelons, any fruit with a high natural sugar content or high acidity can trigger inflammatory processes when consumed close to bedtime. The citric acid present in fruits like oranges and lemons can cause gastroesophageal reflux, causing stomach acid to rise up into the throat during sleep, irritating and inflaming all the tissues it passes through. Very sweet fruits trigger the same insulin spikes we mentioned with refined sugar, causing systemic inflammation and sleep cycle dysregulation. What makes this especially insidious is that many people consume fruit thinking they're making a healthy choice without realizing that timing is completely sabotaging its benefits. Imagine a 67-year-old who had the healthy habit of eating a bowl of fruit for dessert every night. She couldn't understand why, despite such a careful diet, she kept waking up with a sore throat and difficulty breathing. When she switched her fruit intake to morning and afternoon, keeping her evenings free of any natural sugars, she found her nights completely transformed. A crucial aspect we need to understand is why people over 60 are especially vulnerable to these devastating dietary effects. As we age, our immune system undergoes dramatic changes that make our inflammatory response much more intense and long-lasting. It's as if our body loses the ability to distinguish between a real threat and a harmless food, overreacting to substances it once processed without issue. Our production of digestive enzymes also decreases significantly, causing food to linger in the digestive system, longer prolonging all the inflammatory processes we mentioned. The throat muscles, already weakened by the natural aging process, become even more vulnerable when exposed to inflammation caused by poor dietary choices. It's a perfect combination for disaster: weaker muscles, more intense inflammation, and diminished recovery capacity. But here's the good news that changes everything when you understand these mechanisms and make the appropriate corrections. Your body still maintains an impressive capacity to regenerate and heal itself, regardless of your age. If you're finding this information helpful and recognizing patterns in your own life, leave a number 1 in the comments, so I know I'm on the right track and can continue bringing you content that truly makes a difference in your quality of life. Let's now talk about practical solutions that can transform your nights starting today. The first fundamental strategy is to establish an eating window that respects your body's natural rhythms. Stop consuming any type of solid food at least 4 hours before your usual bedtime. If you usually go to bed at 10 p.m., your last meal should be at 6 p.m. This allows your digestive system to complete the entire process of breaking down and absorbing food before you go to bed, preventing inflammatory processes from interfering with your nighttime breathing. During these final 4 hours of the day, you can consume only specific liquids, which we will discuss in detail. Imagine a 61-year-old woman who was desperate because she woke up every night at 3 a.m. with excruciating shortness of breath. When she implemented this 4-hour window, she discovered that for the first time in months, she was able to sleep soundly throughout the night. What she realized is that her body finally had enough energy to keep her respiratory muscles functioning properly instead of wasting resources trying to digest food throughout the night. The second revolutionary strategy is strategic nighttime hydration. During your last 4 hours awake, you should consume only pure water at room temperature, specific unsweetened teas or anti-inflammatory herbal infusions. Chamomile, valerian, lemon balm, and mint all have properties that help reduce inflammation in the throat tissues while promoting proper muscle relaxation. Avoid ice-cold or very hot water, as extreme temperatures can cause thermal shock to the sensitive throat tissues. The ideal amount is about 500 ml distributed gradually over these 4 hours, stopping drinking liquids at least an hour before bed to avoid nocturnal interruptions to the bathroom. The key is to create an anti-inflammatory internal environment that prepares your body for restful rest. Ginger and turmeric teas consumed 2 hours before bed can reduce airway inflammation by up to 40%, creating ideal conditions for fluid breathing throughout the night. The third transformation you need to make is to completely restructure your supper, making it the smallest and lightest meal of the day. Your last meal should consist exclusively of easily digestible lean proteins and lightly cooked anti-inflammatory vegetables. Fish like salmon, sardines, or cod organic skinless. Chicken, hard-boiled eggs, always accompanied by vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, carrots, and pumpkin, all steamed or sautéed with a minimum of extra virgin olive oil. These foods provide the nutrients necessary for nighttime recovery without triggering inflammatory processes. Completely avoid complex carbohydrates at supper, as they require a lot of digestive work and can cause intestinal fermentation, which contributes to reflux and throat irritation. Season only with fresh anti-inflammatory herbs like rosemary, thyme, oregano, and basil, avoiding excessive salt or any type of processed seasoning. Imagine a 64-year-old who transformed their heavy dinner of pasta and cheese into a light meal of grilled salmon with steamed vegetables. Within 2 weeks, she reported that she not only stopped waking up gasping during the night, but also found she was losing weight naturally and waking up feeling much more energized. The fourth powerful strategy is strategic supplementation with specific nutrients that strengthen respiratory muscles and reduce systemic inflammation. Magnesium chelate, taken 1 hour before bed, promotes proper muscle relaxation and improves cellular oxygenation. Vitamin D3, combined with vitamin K2 consumed with dinner, strengthens throat muscles and improves immune system function. High-quality omega-3s, preferably from wild-caught fish oil, dramatically reduces systemic inflammation affecting the airways. Sleep-specific probiotics taken on an empty stomach before your last meal balance gut flora and reduce the production of toxins that can cause throat inflammation. It's important to consult a healthcare professional before starting any supplementation, especially if you're already taking medications for other conditions. But the results can be impressive. Studies show that people who combine these nutritional strategies with dietary changes reduce their apnea episodes by up to 70% in just 6 weeks. Let's now address a fundamental question: how to deal with nighttime hunger when you implement these changes. It's completely normal to feel hungry during the first few weeks of adaptation, as your body is accustomed to receiving food at times we now know are harmful. The most effective strategy is to restructure your daytime meals to be more substantial and nutritious, ensuring you reach the end of the day satisfied and without the need for late-night snacking. A breakfast rich in protein and good fats, a balanced lunch with all macronutrients, an afternoon snack with fruits and nuts, and a light supper as described. When nighttime hunger strikes, take a deep breath and remember that it's a temporary sign that your body is adjusting to a healthier rhythm. You can have a warm herbal tea or a glass of water, but resist the temptation to eat. As each night you maintain this discipline is investing in months of restful sleep in the future. Imagine a 59-year-old who struggled with nighttime hunger for 3 weeks, but persisted because they knew their health depended on it. By the end of the first month, she found that not only was she no longer hungry at night, but her energy levels during the day had increased dramatically. Now I want to share something that could save your life: the emergency signs that indicate your sleep apnea has reached dangerous levels and requires immediate medical attention. If you wake up more than 5 times a night struggling to breathe, experience chest pain during or after episodes of shortness of breath, notice yourself becoming confused or disoriented upon waking, develop intense morning headaches that don't improve with painkillers, or if your partner notices you being completely silent for long periods during the night followed by heavy breathing, you need to seek urgent medical help. These are signs that your body is not able to oxygenate itself properly and that you may be at risk for serious cardiovascular problems. The dietary strategies we've shared are powerful and effective, but severe cases of sleep apnea may require professional medical intervention combined with these lifestyle changes. Never ignore your body's signals, especially when it comes to your ability to breathe properly during sleep. Implementing these changes should be gradual and systematic to ensure long-term success. Start by eliminating just one problematic food group per week. Week 1, eliminate all dairy after 5 p.m. Week 2, eliminate sugars and refined carbohydrates at night. Week 3, remove processed foods from your dinner. Week 4, implement the 4-hour window without solid food before bed. Week 5, introduce anti-inflammatory teas and strategic hydration. Week 6, finish by completely restructuring your dinner. This gradual approach allows your body to slowly adjust to the changes without causing additional stress or withdrawal symptoms that could lead you to give up. Imagine a 66-year-old who tried to make all the changes at once and felt overwhelmed, eventually giving up. When she started again following this weekly progression, she found that each small victory motivated her to the next step, and by the end of 6 weeks, she had completely transformed her sleep quality. A key issue many people face is how to navigate social and family situations when implementing these changes. Family dinners, get-togethers with friends, celebrations. All of these occasions can become challenging when you need to maintain strict nighttime eating discipline. The most effective strategy is to plan ahead, eat your balanced meal before leaving home. Arrive at events already satisfied, focus on socializing rather than eating, and if necessary, briefly, explain that you're making changes to improve your sleep health. Most people will be understanding and even admire your dedication to wellness. Remember, a few weeks of discipline can result in years of restful nights and energetic days. You can also become an inspiring example to others struggling with similar issues, showing that it's possible to regain control of your health regardless of age. The impact of these changes goes far beyond improving sleep apnea. When you stop eating inflammatory foods at night, your entire immune system strengthens your digestion, improves your metabolism, speeds up your skin, becomes healthier, your mind becomes clearer, your energy levels increase dramatically, and you may even lose weight naturally. It's as if you're completely resetting your body, allowing all systems to function as they were designed. Studies show that people who implemented these nighttime dietary changes not only improved their sleep apnea but also significantly reduced their risk of developing type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and even some types of cancer. You're investing not only in better nights, but in a longer, healthier life. We've reached the end of this transformative journey, and I want you to understand that everything we've shared today is based on solid scientific research and real-life experiences from people who have completely reversed their sleep apnea problems through strategic dietary changes. Sleep apnea doesn't have to be a prison sentence that condemns you to nights of terror and days of exhaustion. You have the power to transform your reality, starting with your next meal. Remember the key points we've covered: eliminate dairy, sugars, processed foods, alcohol, spicy foods, and very sweet fruits after 5 p.m. Establish a 4-hour window without solid food before bed. Strategically hydrate yourself with anti-inflammatory teas. Make your evening meal the smallest and lightest meal of the day. Consider appropriate supplementation after professional guidance. Implement changes gradually to ensure lasting success. Your breathing during sleep is literally your lifeline, and you deserve a night of deep, restful rest. Don't let seemingly harmless foods continue to rob you of oxygen and your quality of life. Start today, start now, because every night of restful sleep you achieve is a precious investment in your health and longevity. If this video opened your eyes to connections you'd never realized existed between your nighttime eating and sleep quality, please leave a like to let me know this content was helpful. Share it with family and friends who may be struggling with similar issues, because life-saving information needs to be shared. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos, where we'll cover even more specific strategies for optimizing your sleep and respiratory health. In the comments, tell me the most surprising information you learned today, or share your experience with sleep apnea and how you plan to implement these changes. Each comment helps me better understand our community's needs and create even more targeted content. In future videos, we'll explore specific breathing exercises to strengthen throat muscles, sleeping positions that improve nighttime breathing, and natural supplements that can further enhance the results you'll achieve with these dietary changes. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. We're here to support you every step of the way toward restful nights and refreshing days.